So the South Africa's banking strike planned for today, Friday, September the 27th, has been postponed after the Braamfontein Labour Court decided Thursday that the National Finance Workers' Walkout was illegal. The South African Society of Bank Officials, that's the union planning the strike to protect job losses, expected 5 marches in Johannesburg, in Durban, in Bloemfontein, Port Elizabeth and Cape Town. So let's see how this is playing out today. Joining us from South Africa via Skype is Brian Fujeni, who is a South African journalist, and we have the pleasure of having him on the show. Thank you, Brian. It's good to see you.
Afternoon. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much. It's good to get together on the show. So what's the situation like at the moment? Are the banking unions obeying the court orders of yesterday?
The banking unions did obey the court order from yesterday. They urged their workers to go back to work today so that they don't face any legal action. But they are planning to appeal the court ruling and plan to do another strike on the 7th of October. So we'll wait and see how that goes.
What exactly do the bankers want?
The bankers are worried about losing their jobs with the recent fourth industrial revolution that's happening with the banking sector. Banks have been retrenching people. So that's what the workers are worried about at the moment, losing their jobs. And they're also worried and complaining and not happy about the exorbitant monies that the executives are currently getting and earning, yet their jobs are at risk.
Very interesting. So on one hand, they're worried about technology replacing their job, which is fintech. On the other hand, they're worried about the executive paycheck.
Yes.
Quite interesting. So what is the government, maybe the Ministry of Finance and the Reserve Bank, what are they saying about this issue, in particular the Reserve Bank?
They've been very quiet, especially after the interdict yesterday. We haven't had much from the government side. I think they were just waiting for that court ruling yesterday. So, but they've been really quiet. Nothing much has been said by the government. So, yeah, we don't know what the government's viewpoint at the moment is right now.
Brian, have you seen any panic withdrawals by South Africans from the banks, as it were? Are the citizens are panicking about this likely strike? Are they making some withdrawals? Are they a frenzy in terms of banking transactions, as it were, or is it just quiet?
There were a few incidents a couple of days back on Wednesday before the interdict where people did withdraw their monies, and there was ATMs not having money. But from yesterday after the interdict, banks started sending out messages to tell people not to panic. And yeah, today it's a bit calm. The queues are no longer there, which were there yesterday morning when people got paid. But now it's calm. Things are back to normal because even the banking apps were working. So yeah.
Sector, any idea what the shares of the banks, how they're doing on the GSE?
The 3 banks which were planning to go on strike, that's your Standard Bank, your Absa, and Nedbank, did lose their share points yesterday. But today things seem to be going back to normal because everything is going back to normal as well on the banking side.
How strong is the backing of COSATU here with these bankers planning to go on strike? Is the COSATU solidly behind them and saying this is not over yet? Do they have that backing?
Yes, they do have the backing of COSATU, because COSATU are the ones today actually in the morning, who did say that they will appeal. They will help SASPO to appeal the ruling, and hopefully they'll go back and do the same stay-away strike on the 7th of October.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Keep us up to speed. Enjoy the rest of the day, and it's evening time already in South Africa. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. Thank you, Brian Fujeni, a South African journalist.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time. Okay, so let's take a drive to Rwanda, not significantly far from South Africa, where Volkswagen Africa is placing $50 million bet on a new business built around mobility solutions like ride-hailing and care-sharing But the question is, why is Volkswagen using Rwanda, a very small Central African country, for this innovation experience? Let's find out in this report, shall we?
Backed by progressive government policy, Rwanda has already earned a reputation for innovation, from a cashless public transport system to medical drones. The city's budding IT sector allowed Volkswagen to develop its ride-hailing app, Move, locally. With a population of roughly 850,000, Volkswagen sees Kigali as an ideal test.
It's not just about Rwanda, it's really about Africa, and it's really about the customer of the future, you know. Today, the millennials, you have a new range of customer who do not want to have the burden of taking care of an item. They want to be able to drive in a car, but they don't want to worry about insurances, maintenance, fueling of the car, etc. They want on-demand, just-in-time product.
The company says it will eventually need around 800 cars on the road in the city. Global automakers like Volkswagen, Nissan, Toyota, Honda and Peugeot are waking up to the potential in Africa, where incomes and consumer aspirations are rising.
It was 120 that I was used to pay monthly before using Move. But then right now, sometimes I can be from 60 to 80,000 Rwandan francs. So you see that the difference is very huge.
If it succeeds, Volkswagen's Rwandan experiment could help plot the future course of Africa's auto sector by securing a foothold in the developing world's rapidly growing ride-hailing space. But observers question whether it can compete with the likes of Uber and Bolt, or in light of their heavy losses, if it should even try. Most Kigali residents use existing, cheaper public transport, like motor taxis and buses. Others simply drive themselves, but prefer taking local taxis, known as Yego taxis.
What is obvious is that when it comes to transport here, I don't think that VW will be able to take over the market, because it will not be able to take all the people who need to move around, even if it was the only company available on the market, because there are too many people who still prefer to take the traditional taxis.
The Move app now has over 23,000 registered users in Kigali, and in July, Move Ride, the ride-hailing service, averaged 384 rides per day, a figure Volkswagen wants to double. Only around 2,200 of those who have signed up to Move are active users. However, though Volkswagen says that level of uptake is generally in line with other ride-hailing services. And while reviews of the app are generally positive on Google Play, which is a download platform for the Android devices overwhelmingly used in Africa, customers using it on their iPhones have been withering in their criticisms. Cars operated by drivers or Volkswagen employees are assembled in Rwanda at a new plant that also produces vehicles for the relatively few customers who are able to afford a brand new Polo, Passat or Terramont. Each facet of business, new car sales, ride-hailing, used car sales as well as parts and service represents a revenue stream. And together, Volkswagen hopes that they can make the company's investment in Rwanda worthwhile.
An interesting African story from Kigali, Rwanda. This has been Channels Television production from Lagos, Nigeria. I'll see you again very soon. I am Bosin Namofa. Have a great weekend, everyone.